Hey, Coach. We can hear you, and we are ready when you are.
As far as the injuries go, Michael Dana strained his hamstring, so we'll have to see how he does there the next day or so. And then, listen, my hat goes off to the operations staff for pulling this thing off. Anytime you have a sudden change like this and switch a day, after all the preparation that goes in for the Sunday game, now you got to work it out for the Monday game. That's a that's a tough deal. As far as the team goes, I thought we made plays when we had to make plays, and we can learn from this, and we've got to do better in a lot of areas. But it's tough to win in this league, and it's tough to beat the Patriots in any situation. They're very well coached, and they did a nice job tonight, Bill, with all the obstacles he had. He really did a nice job. So the 4 turnovers ended up being big for us, 14 points off of that. And I mean, I can go through and name individuals, but I think collectively as a team, we can do better than what we did. But it's a win in the National Football League. These summer guns are hard to get, and I've been on the other end of this where another quarterback comes in and you don't win the game. So we'll take this one, we'll learn from it, and make ourselves better from it. So with that, time's yours.
Go first to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, Andy, it looked like they were dropping a ton of D-backs, like 6 or 7 guys in coverage. Like, can you just describe sort of the challenges that created and how you guys attacked and what didn't work early and what worked late?
Yeah, we started going more to outbreaking routes, and that seemed to work for us a little better. We ran the ball better down the stretch. They started off playing cover 2 and they started getting into the drop game. So, it'll be a good tape to learn from.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Andy, you kind of referenced it off the top, but can you kind of explain just how much had to change with you guys playing 24 hours later than expected?
Oh, it's different. We're expecting different though this year. So we had to put it together and do it and kind of back up a step there. They sent us home on Saturday, which we understand, and close the office up. So we were able to get back in as coaches and then work a little bit. But the players weren't allowed back in up until this date. So they have not been in the building. But there's no excuse to it. Heck, we had a game plan together, and it was just one little obstacle that was in there. They had an obstacle. They had to fly in today. So, I mean, that's not an easy thing, plus no quarterback. They were using backup quarterbacks, and it was good experience for those guys, but that's what it was.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Which it seemed like the momentum was switching a little bit, and then Taco ended up making a really crucial play for you guys. Just how proud of you are you of him, given his story of going away from those 2 teams and finding a home here and making that big play?
Yeah, Taco's made some good plays for us, so that was one of them for sure. It's great for his career going forward, so that's a positive thing for him, and he's all in for right now and enjoys being here and working hard. So
let's go next to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, let's sticking on the defensive side of the ball. Rashad Fenton had himself a pretty darn good game. What does it say about your cornerback group with that level of play? And also you're getting Bashad Breeland back here after this weekend.
Yeah, Fenton did a nice job with the exception of the one fade right there fourth quarter, I believe it was. He had big plays, big interception down the stretch there. That was a beautiful play, and had a couple other breakups that were really good. So it's good. You can't have enough of those guys, Herbie. So you need corners. And Rashad comes back this week, so it'll be good to get him back in the mix too.
Go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Andy, I know this concludes the first quarter of the NFL season, but you obviously want to see progress from week 1 to week 4. For your defense to have primetime games on back-to-back weeks, what have you just liked so far from what your defense has shown from maybe opening night to what you've seen tonight?
Yeah, I like the fight in the guys. They don't get down; they just try to get better. And every play is not not going to be a great play, but they don't flinch on it. They learn from it, and then they bring it the next time. So that becomes an important ingredient throughout a season, particularly on defense. You have to have a short memory, but still learn from the things that you get a problem with. So they're willing to do that.
Go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach, I wonder if you could take us through what you saw on that play where it looked like Patrick either fumbled or interception, whatever, and they blew it dead, and you guys were able to get the punt team out there quickly. Just would you take us through that sequence?
Well, you can't review that dead ball, so there was no review on it. They obviously saw that he was down, so that's what took place.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go Matt, Derek, and then Vahe. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, you talked a little bit about the, going home and having the delay. I'm curious if you thought that delay maybe affected the first half. It seemed like maybe the timing was a little bit off. Maybe guys were just a little bit rusty. And did that layoff have any effect on Chris Jones not playing tonight, or was that kind of the plan all along?
Oh, well, we were hoping that he might be able to play, but it's tender, and so he's not ready yet. So we'll see how it goes this week as we go forward. But he tried. I mean, he warmed up and did a little workout, and there's one spot there that bothered him, so he's working through that. And then as far as the timing goes, no, I mean, the timing, we had the timing. We got to stay on side. We got to hang on to the football. All those things we got to take care of, and and do just play. So I didn't think the day off or anything really hurt us on that, Matt. I just think we got to focus a little bit more as we go forward here.
Go last to Vahe. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy. Wonder if you could just elaborate a little on what you saw on Tyron's pick six and the impact that had on the game.
Yeah, you know what? I saw it late on the board, so I was sitting down at the time with Pat, and when he hit that thing. So, but it looked like it was pretty nice. We needed it right there. So when I'm talking about big plays happening at the right time, Kelsey and that one by the Badger. I mean, those are big plays that we needed at that particular time.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, we've got Clyde coming up your way next. All right, Clyde, are you ready for us?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll start with Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Clyde, congrats on the win. I was wondering, as you kind of evaluate your own game tonight, what you might be able to do better, what you noticed. I know there'll probably be some film review, but what you've noticed just coming out of it.
Ultimately, I just feel like I need to just put my foot in the ground and just get north on some runs. Some things we got to ultimately clean up as an offensive group. Got off to a slow start, but most importantly, go through the film, see what I can fix, see what we can adjust as far as tomorrow on film, and then afterwards walk through and go through any adjustments that we need to make.
Let's go next to Mick Schaefer. Go ahead, Mick.
Hey there, Claude. I was just wondering what the Patriots were doing tonight to slow you guys down so much for the better part of 3 quarters.
For the most part, what I can speak for, they had a great defensive scheme. They, as far as the way they scheme up, and the film that I watched, film over and over again. As far as the scheme that they played, it's always a great scheme to match up against us, and ultimately until we can make some adjustments, especially after we made some adjustments at halftime. Ultimately, it was kind of just a mental thing. Once we got over that hump, we started to take off.
Next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Clyde, I know you guys had to wait longer than 24 hours than you expected to play this game. Can you just explain what the tone and what the mood was in the locker room at halftime, given how sort of unusual your guys' first half performance was?
we just knew we needed ultimately that we were beating ourselves. We just slow on offense, and the theme of halftime was pretty much pick it up. I mean, we had everything that we wanted. We just wasn't executing, the way we needed to and the way we wanted. Just some things were just a tad bit off. Ultimately, we got it corrected and came out with the win.
Like we've got two more. We'll go Sam and then Herbie. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Clyde, I know you've been talking about like the execution and stuff. I'm just curious. They had 6 defensive backs, sometimes even more, on the field at times. Is that just a personnel group that you feel like you should be able to run the ball a little bit more effectively against?
Yes, sir. As far as the nickel package that they were in, it was big against the pass game to slow the pass down. Ultimately, as far as the things that we were seeing on the sideline, as far as the adjustments, as far as running the ball, there were some things that we need to get cleaned up from everybody's standpoint, especially mine being able to run the ball. So it's some things that we'll have to look at on film, and ultimately it'll be corrected and look much better next week.
Let's go last to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Clyde, you got 4 games now under your belt here. What's your biggest takeaway from these first 4 games that you want to apply to these last 12 games of the regular season?
Preparation. I've always been big on preparation and preparing. As far as the way that I've been preparing, I feel like it's been great. Coach Reid, Coach EB, and Dealin, the way they get the running backs prepared. As far as me speaking on how I prepare, it's better than anything that I've ever been around. So ultimately, preparation. These first four games were up there for me, and that's something that I feel like I have to continue through February.
We appreciate the time today. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir, no problem.
All right, guys, we got Tyron coming up next. Thank you, Clyde. Appreciate it. See ya. Tyron, you ready for us?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get started. We'll start with Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Tyron, congratulations on the win. Overall, the secondary performance, getting all those interceptions, to see young guys like Rashad Fenton step up as well, along with yourself getting a pick 6. Just overall assess the defensive secondary's performance tonight.
It's always cool when you can get your hands on the ball, obviously create some sacks. Still feel like we can play so much better. And I think that's the goal, for us to kind of, forget about this game. Obviously, our younger guys stepped up, played well. But we're getting into the thick of it. We got two real tough opponents that's coming up. And we got to try to find a way to get better and win the next couple games.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Tyron. Are you at all impressed with what you guys have been able to accomplish in the secondary, particularly considering Juan's coming back, Bashad hadn't played at all, both Ward and Snead have missed at least one game because of injuries. You at all impressed by what you've been able to accomplish given that scenario?
Well, I feel like, obviously we have great coaching, obviously, with Coach Spags and, especially, Coach Merritt, Coach Sam Madison, even Connor, who helped us out, with a lot of nuggets throughout the week. I feel like all those men, really put the right kind of confidence, in us, and then obviously, competing against our offense, all training camp, Rashad, a lot of these guys have been getting work against some of the best, offensive players in the league. And so obviously I'm happy for them, man, for them to have the opportunity to play, obviously for a great team, but to do it on a big stage, to play well against some big time opponents, some good football teams. Just hoping that those guys can continue to get better, continue to stay motivated and hungry.
Go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Tyron. Can you just walk us through your interception, what it felt like getting in the end zone tonight?
Oh, man, obviously it's cool. Anytime you can, score points defensively, especially for myself. I don't always get on the stat sheet, but just try my best to do my job, be where I'm supposed to be, and thank the man upstairs took care of me tonight. So I appreciate that one.
Go next to Breland Moore. Go ahead, Breland.
Hey, Tyron. So last year, a lot of you guys in this locker room really kind of stressed that you were finding your identity roughly around this time, honestly. compare last year to this year. How proud are you of this defense for making incredible strides just in a year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely proud. Anytime you have a new group, new coaching, it can take some time. It can take years for you to kind of, really get to that point where everybody's comfortable with, how you're performing. I think in our mind, obviously we understand, we're a prideful group. We work really hard. And I'm just more so happy that, we made the plays that came to us tonight. We didn't try to go out our way to do somebody else's job. We just caught the one that they threw to us. And I think that's a big part of, building that confidence going forward.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Tyron, you seem a little bit hesitant to just glow about this defense, especially the secondary right now, and constantly talking about the things you need to improve. I'm wondering how much of that rhetoric is based on the fact that you have young guys back there, specifically in the secondary. You're just trying to sort of illustrate that message to them.
Well, it's a long season, and I think, it really is. It's an any given Sunday league, So I think, obviously in my mind, we have to stay humble. We have to continue to work hard. Obviously we have to forget about bad plays, but I think the good games we've been able to put together, we got to put those games to rest. We can't dwell on them. I think every team that we'll face defensively, they're going to try to give us their best shot. So I think for me, being a leader of my group, I'm just trying to keep my guys humble, obviously, paint the picture for them that this is a long season, and any given Sunday we can, get exposed or we cannot be ready to play. So I think on my end, it's all about, focus, getting them to focus on one play at a time and then trying to get better from, week to week.
We got time for a few more. Let's go next to Hannah. Go ahead, Hannah.
Hi there. I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about how you stay focused in your game in such an unprecedented time where you do have to be mindful of precautions and safeguards without being distracted from the week ahead.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a big challenge. I think football players, a lot of us, we like rhythm, routine. We like to stay in that. And I think right now, it's unfortunate that, a lot of people are having to go out of their way with their routine. But, I think we got a great locker room. I think we got a lot of guys in our locker room that love to play the game. They love to focus on practice. They love to focus on getting better. And I think that's a big part of the struggle, is when you have other guys around you that can kind of get you to check back in, lock back in, focus on the things that you really can't control.
We'll go to the last two. We'll go Nate and then Herbie. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Ty, you guys have played probably two of the strangest, weirdest games of the year. Obviously, what occurred with Tyrod right before kickoff, obviously having the game move from Sunday to Monday. But Andy says you guys are some of the best on defense about learning quickly but still forgetting the past. I'm wondering, where does that come from with this particular group in your eyes?
Well, I think Spags do a great job of, reminding us, alerting us, even when we have a good game. I think he's the one that's kind of keeping us in check, keeping us humble, throwing out stats to us. Even when our offense score, for some reason on defense, we always give up a score. So we're always conscious of all these different scenarios, situations, and I think in our mind, we know we can be a great defense if we could just put it all together. And then, like I said earlier, it's just about forgetting about the bad plays, encouraging your teammates, moving on to the next play. And then when we're able to put together a good game, it's about putting that game to bed and then moving on. I think that's what great defense is. They're consistent.
Go last to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Tyron.
Hey.
The Patriots are driving in the second half, and then you've got Taco Charlton who comes up with a big play and helps turn the tide. From a defensive point of view, how big was that for you guys to see him make that strip sack and so basically turn the tide of the game?
It's huge, and we knew coming into this game, obviously when the Patriots get in the red zone, they're one of them teams that they'll settle for 3 points, So I think obviously, they were in field goal range, but anytime you have the ability to eliminate the point, to not give them any points when they've already secured at least 3 points, I think those plays are the plays that get coaches fired up. I think those are the plays that get the defense going. And so we got a lot of guys like that are really willing to step up in those situations and be the guy to make that play. And I think Taco has been a great addition, he's a great football player, but he's been a great teammate too since he's gotten here. So it's cool to see him have some success, in a Chiefs uniform.
Tyron, we appreciate you joining us. Thanks for doing it. All right, guys. We got Patrick coming up next. Patrick, you ready for us?
Ready to go.
All right. We'll start with Blair Kirkhoff. Go ahead, Blair.
Hey, Patrick, what is it about the Chiefs defense or the Patriots defense, that makes things difficult for you in the offense?
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of good veteran players. I think that's the first thing. When you have good players and you do different schemes and you're able to do that, usually you're a pretty good defense. And then as for us, I felt like we, especially me, I didn't execute at a high enough level when you're playing against a defense like that if you want to go out there and have success.
Go next, Mick Schaefer. Go ahead, Mick.
Hey there, Patrick. I was wondering from your vantage point, the play where they called you dead in the grasp and the ball popped out. Were you surprised that play was called, that you were down?
I immediately heard the whistle blow. I mean, obviously, I didn't know what reason that was, if I was down or if it was based on my forward progress. But I heard the whistle blow, and so I just went along with the game. And obviously, it was a play that hopefully I don't encounter again.
Go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick. Just curious, how big was the 45-yarder for Travis late in the third quarter that really got you guys going offensively? How big was that for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think you see it with our team. You've seen it this season, and you've seen it last season with this offense. Is even if you kind of hold us down, we can go out there and make plays when they count. That's big. I mean, when you're in games like that, when you're in those kind of dogfights and you're going against teams that are really good, whenever your number is called, you got to be able to make a play. And I thought guys made plays at the end of the game to give us enough points so that we can go out there and get the win.
Go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Pat, what was it like preparing for a Sunday afternoon game and then on Saturday morning it gets moved back 24 hours? I mean, obviously the same thing for the Patriots, but what was that like and how did that, you feel like, affect the team's focus and your focus?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a little different, but you have to be able to expect the unexpected. I thought guys did a good job of staying focused, but obviously we didn't have the success as an offense that we wanted to. So just trying to go into this next week knowing we're going against a division opponent with a good team, and we're about to play our best football if we want to find a way to get a win.
Let's go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick, you talked a couple answers ago about executing, that you guys need to execute better. But I'm just curious, they were dropping so many defensive backs into coverage. Was that similar to what Houston and the Chargers were doing to you, or was there a different twist?
I mean, it was a little similar to what Houston was doing. Not so much the Chargers, but I mean, they played well. And when guys were open, it seemed like I wasn't finding them. And I could see it on the tablet after I would go to the sideline. And we were calling plays that were getting guys open. I just got to be able to be the guy that find them and get it to those guys so that they can make plays happen.
Let's go next to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Patrick. Just if you get a chance, could you kind of, you all have won 13 straight games. You won games kind of ugly, kind of fashionably. Can you walk us through, what your thought process is on the team and the makeup of the team, being able to win all types of ball games thus far? And then also, my father passed away tonight, but he wanted me to let you know that you were his favorite quarterback before he passed away. So I thought I'd tell you that.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry for your loss to your family. I'll be praying for you and your family for sure. But as far as being able to win games different ways, I thought we figured out a little bit last season. Last season at the end of it, and you have to be able to do that when you're in these dogfights with teams like this that are known to win games like this. You have to be able to find ways, offense, defense, and special teams. And today, our defense stepped up, made a lot of big time plays. And whenever you're trying to go throughout a season and win as many football games as possible to set you up for the playoffs, you're gonna have to win games like this.
We got time for a couple more. We'll go Pete and then Sam. Go ahead, Pete.
Pat, congrats. The Patriots kind of stifled you guys for 3 quarters. What was your messaging to the team on the sideline, midway through the third quarter when it just seemed like nothing was working?
I mean, it's the same thing I always talk about. Just keep fighting, keep going out there and trying to find ways to score. And early in the game, we were moving the ball the way we wanted to move it. We were doing stuff the right way, and we couldn't figure out ways to get in the end zone. And then they obviously got some stops there in the middle. But I'm proud of how the guys fought at the end of the game. And that game easily could have went the other direction. They had a lot of the momentum, but the defense made stops, and we were able to find ways to score whenever it counted.
The last Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Patrick, I wonder if you could just elaborate on what did change with your preparation. How did you spend yesterday, for example?
Yesterday was a little bit similar. We were able to go to the hotel, but the day before, everybody had to get out of the building, and so you still can find ways to watch film and find ways to kind of do different stuff like that. But it's obviously something that you're unprepared for. So obviously I didn't do enough because we didn't execute at a high enough level, and I wasn't able to find the guys. I didn't play very good football, but I thought I did whatever I could to try to stay in tune with the game, and hopefully, if this presents itself again, which hopefully it doesn't, I'll be able to do better.
Patrick, we appreciate you joining us. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Last but not least is Frank, and we will get you his way.
Sorry? No, we're still waiting on Frank Clark. Oh, you gonna kick me out of here?
Perfect. We can all hear you. Sorry, guys. We're working to get Frank. I think he's finishing up the shower and going away. Oh, shit. Oh, we're live, Frank.
I'm live. My bad.
Okay.
I almost tripped on the steps, man. My legs heavy as heck.
Okay, are you ready for us? Are you ready, Frank?
Yeah, I'm ready. How you guys doing?
All right, good. Let's start with Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Frank, you've kind of taken Taco Charlton under your wing, going back to your days at Michigan, and then when he first came here. How happy and how proud of you were you of him to see him make that game-changing play tonight?
Oh man, I was hella proud. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been playing with this dude, knowing this dude for almost 10 years plus, and just seeing him out there making the plays he's making. You know, remind me of days back when we was younger. You know, when I used to coach him up and tell him different things. When we used to be in practice, going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And then just to see him, 6-7 years later down the road doing what he does and stripping the ball, making big plays to help us win, man. You know, that's all you want to see as one of the older guys in this league.
Go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Frank, I'm just wondering, from your perspective, you guys have said you wanted to be a top 5 defense. You guys are in that category in terms of points allowed so far. Just where would you assess the unit right now, 4 games into the season?
We still trying to get there. As far as that, but we want to go with every category. We want to be more undisputed to what we are, not have, all these different gaps and holes in between. But, the better we continue to just understand and stay humble in our actions, and understand that it's always more work, the better we are as a defense as a whole.
Go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Frank, can you just walk us through that sack you had at the end of the first half?
Oh man, my teammates, DBs, they just did a heck of a job. They did a heck of a job in the back end. I did my job and just made the play.
Next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Frank, I'm just curious, what were the last couple of days for you like with, getting the news on Saturday that you had the test and then the game getting postponed, and then just kind of getting out of your routine? And what was the game like for tonight? Was there any, kind of having to get the rust off a little bit from having not been around?
No, not really. You know what I mean? As a football player, you got to always be conscious in the word change. You never know what's gonna happen. Who knew their starting quarterback would be out? After all the preparation we went into this past week, there was a lot of things defensively we had to change, and alter. But at the end of the day, the NFL is the NFL. The backup is the highest paid position. It's the most important position next to being the starting quarterback in the NFL. So, we wasn't gonna ease up. We gave them a little bit too much, I feel, and we should have just kept our foot on their throat a little bit more. But they had some great plays at the end of that game. I think they broke off a 40-45 yard run. So yeah, hats off to those guys for making the plays where they should have. But we just got to finish more on defense, man. We got to finish better. And thank God we got more season to show that.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Frank, I just want to go back to Taco for a second. I mean, you guys have this relationship dating back to college. How much was a night like tonight where you both have key sacks in an NFL game? Like, how much was that something that maybe you guys talked about in your college days and, like, really something that you dreamed about?
Man, we talk about it all the time. We talked about it this summer when, Talk ended up getting signed by the Chiefs. It was just something, that's my dog, man. We've been around doing this stuff for a long time now, and just to finally really be out there. I didn't really have a lot of chance to play with Taco, in college because he was so much younger than me, and I was the starter at my position. I believe he was like a 3 then. He didn't even have it there. You know what I'm saying? Next thing I know, you fast forward and I'm in the NFL as a rookie in 2015, and this man is, about to be a first round pick. So it was kind of one of those like, damn, man, I'm so happy just the progress he made up until this point, and he's still proving them wrong. And everybody was looking at Taco last year and the years before that, like the man couldn't do his job, or like, he didn't know how to rush the pass, or like, he didn't know how to play the run or whatever. And you see the man making plays. Sometimes these guys just need a chance just to show what they can do. Sometimes it's not them; it can be the system they in. And just anybody, if you know him right now, you ask him how is he feeling being in Kansas City, he'll tell you, man, he's having a blast.
Next to Sam McDowell. Go, Sam.
Hey, Frank, what's up, man?
Sam, my dog. My dog.
You touched on this on a single play basis, but I'm kind of wondering on a big picture thing, the fact that you had so much time to get that sack. There were times last year at the beginning of the year where I feel like you guys knew that you had to get to the quarterback pretty quickly. How different does it feel now? And how much do you credit that to just what the cornerbacks in the secondary are doing?
Man, I got the best secondary in football behind me. You know what I mean? You got me, Chris Jones, you got AO, you got some young guys, my boy Turk, you got Mike Bonnell just came back. Well, last week he came back, but 2 weeks back. We got Derek Nadi down there. I got my back end, my front seven linebackers. Man, we got some dogs. And everybody just having fun and enjoying each other's company. Last year when we got here, or when I got here and a few other players, basically everybody, it was a new system. Things kind of hit us fast. You know what I mean? Everything, it didn't process as fast as it should. That's why you guys see, how the season went for us towards the beginning of that season. It's a lot of calls we was missing, little key stuff. But, as we went on, as we progressed, you see we got better. You start seeing us playing more of a unit. You start seeing us having more fun, us celebrating together, us doing things like that actually look like a team defensively. And, just to be out there, like you said, man, I got Tyron back there, man, controlling those guys and, making those guys great. You see Juan coming back, Juan laying the wood on everybody coming across and coming down. He made the play today, a great interception that we needed. And, man, we just having fun out there, like I said, and enjoying each other's company.
Had time for a couple more. We'll go Darren and then Harold. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Frank, I'm curious, what you think of the fact that, underneath Spags, you all have been able to, pretty much change the game plan on the fly. And what's the difference between, having to really be coached on the fly against like the Chargers and then, of course, having a 24-hour period? And how important is it for you all, since you all been in Spags system for a year, that you all can make those type of adjustments, which, with the situation that we're in now with this COVID stuff?
I mean, the same way, like, we got to go to practice and we got to learn plays and learn them to a point where we execute them to win that down. You know what I mean? Or win that quarter, win whatever we're trying to do at that point. It's the same way that Spags trust us with being able to readjust. You go through a week of practice, and if you're one of those guys who's not having a good week of practice, and you might be on that burner, you know what I mean? You might not be a guy who's brought up because of the week of practice you had. But if you're one of those guys who had a great week of practice, you're one of those guys that's being brought up, your coaches, trusting that you're going to do your job. So at the end of the day, it's just trusting that, your players, as a defensive coordinator, he got a crazy job, man. He got a hard job, so when, you coach these guys to learn the game plan all week, you say, man, Cam Newton, big, they look like they're getting it rolling over here. They got these plays designed specifically for Cam Newton. He's been running them since Carolina days, and he's great at it. Quarterback key plays, things kind of changing the red zone. A lot of that stuff changed when we realized he wasn't going to play. But us staying ahead of the curve and us understanding that, like I said earlier, football is football, and in this profession, you got to expect the unexpected. And Spags trusted us, and he looked at us one time in the eye in this meeting this morning and said, "Hey, we can't control none of that. All we can do is go out there and play our style of defense," and that's all we was trusted to do.
We'll go Harold to the last one here. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Frank, you said you're going to put on the show. You certainly put on the show, man. So congrats on the win. My question to you, 4-0 for the fourth straight year. I know you were only here for 2 of it, but just that overall feeling of preparation where it puts him at 4-0 for 4 straight seasons with this franchise.
Man, it's hats off to our coaches and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You got a great foundation. That's where it all starts, is our foundation. When our coaches are doing what they doing, and you got Coach Reid at the top of it, and he's bringing his staff together to help us be who we are. That we can you got to appreciate that sometimes. It's not like that everywhere. You look around the NFL, you got certain teams, certain organizations where they're not as fine-tuned like that. You know what I mean? They don't appreciate who they playing for. They don't appreciate each other. Like I said, you got to appreciate being around each other to have things like this. Like you say, even when I wasn't here, they still had a team where, the different guys who were on the team in the past, they still had a team where it was like, but these guys enjoy playing for their coach. These guys enjoy playing for one another. And when you got a team like that, man, that's all you can ask for. You know what I mean?
Frank, we appreciate the time today. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
All right, guys, that is it for today. 1 second.